Hannah is 31. 2 hours ago, she wrote to her partner that he is the best person she has ever met. 5 minutes ago, because he took an hour to answer, she wrote that she never wants to see him again. And half an hour from now, when she hears him at the door, she will tell him, in tears, that she is sorry, just as sincere as in the first message. From the outside, this looks like a game, or more harshly, like manipulation. For Hannah, inside her mind, all three reactions were real, complete, overwhelming, and they exhaust her just as much as they exhaust him. Today, this is about the most stigmatized personality disorder, borderline. What it actually is, what it isn't, and why the manipulator label is not only wrong, but delays healing by years. If you recognized yourself in Hannah, or if someone dear has, more than once, made you no longer recognize yourself, stay to the end. Part of what you'll hear will change how you understand everything. Let's take the opening scene and look at it from two angles. From the outside, this is what Hannah's partner sees. 3 opposite messages in one evening. 3 moods that don't make sense. 3 different people in the same body. He's tired. He starts to believe she's playing with him, testing him, trying to control him. From the inside, this is what Hannah lived. The first message, a wave of overwhelming affection, a pure sense that this man saves her daily, a need to say it immediately before the feeling disappears. The second hour, the silence from him became the proof, the certain, irrefutable proof that he would leave her. Not a hypothesis, a physical certainty in her body. Her heart pounded as if in mortal danger. Her mind filled the silence with scenarios. The breakup message was an attempt to push him away first, herself, so she wouldn't suffer the abandonment she was convinced of. And when she heard him at the door, the certainty shattered instantly. What remained was only the horror that she had been the cruel one. The same 2 hours, 2 completely different realities. For him, behavior. For her, survival. For a long time, even among psychologists, people with BPD were described as manipulative. The label was used so often that it entered common speech. If you know Hannah, it's very likely that someone at some point has told you with a warning air, "Be careful, she's borderline." The one who changed this perspective was an American researcher, Marsha Linehan, professor at the University of Washington. Linehan did 2 things that overturned the field. First, she developed the only form of therapy that, clinically proven, works for BPD, dialectical behavior therapy, or DBT. Then, much later, she revealed something surprising. She herself had been diagnosed with BPD in her youth. She spoke, therefore, both as a researcher and as someone who had lived it, and her verdict, repeated across all her books and interviews, is clear. People with BPD do not manipulate. They do the best they can with the skills they have. The behaviors that from the outside look like calculation are, in fact, desperate attempts to survive an emotional system that operates at a different intensity. If in a normal relationship, a 1-hour delay means discomfort, for someone with BPD, that same hour can mean real terror. The disproportionate response doesn't come from will. It comes from a dysregulation that overwhelms them before they have a chance to think. Linehan explained this through an image that became classic. Imagine your skin is burned across your entire body. Any touch, however gentle, is pain. That's how the emotional system of someone with BPD works. Emotions are 10 times more intense, last 3 times longer, and always feel like a matter of life and death. What for you is brief upset, for her is a fire. Today's research sees BPD as the result of an unfortunate meeting between two things. First, a biological vulnerability. Some people are born with a more reactive, more intense emotional system. It isn't a flaw. It's a natural variation, like height or eye color. A sensitive child feels everything more strongly. Joy is greater, but so is pain. In good conditions, this can become depth, empathy, artistic talent. Second, a chronically invalidating environment. That is, an environment, usually family, but not only, that, for years, told that sensitive child that their emotions are exaggerated, wrong, ridiculous, manipulative. Don't cry, it's nothing. You're too sensitive. You're being dramatic. You're faking. Repeated thousands of times, these messages teach the child one devastating thing. What you feel isn't real, doesn't count, makes you a defective person. At the meeting of the two, the reactive system, plus the environment that rejects it, something tragic appears. The child with strong emotions has never learned to read them, name them, manage them. In adolescence and then adulthood, these emotions take them by surprise every time. And the only way they've learned to be taken seriously is to amplify them until they can no longer be ignored. That is how what we see from the outside as drama appears. And at the base of all reactions sits a single fear, always present: I will be abandoned. Because I was. Always, symbolically, every time someone told me that what I felt does not exist. Myth 1. People with BPD are manipulative. We've already covered this. They don't manipulate. They live an intensity they haven't yet learned to manage. The difference matters. A manipulator knows what they're doing and has a pursued gain. Someone with BPD is overwhelmed, and the behavior exhausts them as much as those around them. Myth 2, they seek attention. This word is deeply unfair. They don't seek attention, they seek confirmation. Confirmation that they exist, that they are loved, that they won't be left. For someone who grew up believing their emotions weren't real, every gesture of the partner becomes a question. Are you still here? Do I still exist for you? It's a question that never stops. Myth 3. It can't be treated. Categorically false. Linehan's DBT is clinically proven in controlled trials to be effective. It reduces self-destructive behaviors, lowers suicidal ideation, helps develop real emotional regulation skills. Schema therapy also has evidence behind it. Recovery exists. It's long, it isn't linear, but it is real. Myth 4. It's a rare disorder. Only 1 or 2 in 100. In fact, that means millions of people across the English-speaking world alone. Not rare, just silent, because the diagnosis comes late or never. Myth 5, and perhaps the most damaging. All my exes were borderline. No, they weren't. On social media, it has become fashionable to label any difficult former partner as borderline. The truth is that BPD is diagnosed only by a specialist, after extensive evaluation. Borderline traits exist in everyone occasionally. The disorder itself is something else entirely. To stick that label on someone who doesn't have it is a form of violence. To stick it on someone who actually does, without trying to understand, is even worse. If you recognized yourself in today's descriptions, whether as a flash of painful truth or as confirmation of something you'd long suspected, listen carefully. First, before anything, don't diagnose yourself. Go to a psychiatrist or clinical psychotherapist with experience in personality disorders. BPD isn't diagnosed from an online list. It's diagnosed after extensive evaluation because symptoms can overlap with complex trauma, depression, bipolar disorder. Misdiagnosis is the biggest problem in this field. Second, if the diagnosis is confirmed, seek DBT, dialectical behavior therapy. It was designed for this, and it has solid evidence. Look for therapists trained in DBT in your area, or look at online options. Don't accept 3 sessions and we'll see. DBT is a program that lasts months, sometimes years. The investment is worth every hour. Third, the hardest. Be patient with yourself. You will have setbacks. You will have weeks when the old pattern erupts with full force. It doesn't mean it isn't working. It means an entire emotional system is being relearned, and relearning isn't straight. Linehan herself spoke of the process as one in which you slowly build a life worth living, not an instant cure. A slow reconstruction of an entire life. And if someone dear has BPD and you are the one suffering alongside, a few essential things. Don't enter the storm of the emotion, be the calm background. Don't argue logically in the middle of the crisis. Her mind isn't accessible to logic there, only to presence. Don't take personally all the words spoken in the wave. Many are not about you. They are about the fear of abandonment. But, and this matters, do not accept abuse, physical or emotional, in the name of the disorder. Compassion does not mean letting yourself be destroyed. Your healthy limits are part of what can help her too, in the long run. Hannah, whom we spoke of at the beginning, has been in DBT for 2 years now. She hasn't cured her disorder because that's not how it works. She's learned something else. To recognize the wave when it comes, to breathe through it without sending the message, to wait 5 minutes, then another 5, then another 5. She says her first moment of victory was when, one evening, her partner was an hour late, and she stood in the kitchen breathing without touching her phone. That's all. 5 minutes 10 times over until the doorbell rang. That was the beginning of her road back to a life worth living. The most important thing to take from this episode, if someone has ever told you that you are too much, too intense, hard to love, don't rush to accept the label. Ask yourself whether it isn't that no one ever gave you the tools to manage what you feel. And if, after hearing everything today, you sense that part of Hannah's story is also your own, find a specialist. The road exists. It's long, it isn't linear, but it is absolutely possible. And at its end, you can expect to be someone who, finally, has the tools they were never given. Tell me in the comments, without names or details, what would have changed for you if someone had told you, at some point, that your emotions made sense? And if this episode touched you, pass it on. It might reach someone who, right now, is alone with a label others have unfairly stuck on them. Subscribe. Every week we talk about things that genuinely matter. See you next episode.